Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Let's continue from where we left off. So in the previous two videos we looked at 1 to 20 and then 21 to 40. So let's continue with step 41. All right, as a reminder, this is what we are building. So this is the final painting that we want to build with CSS. And this is what we have so far. So let's continue. Now, for step 41, inside the cat left eye element, we want to create another div element with the class cat left inner eye. So I'll create another div element like so. And then I'll give it a class with a value of cat left inner eye like so. Okay. Now, inside cat right eye element, we also want to create another div element and we'll name it cat right inner eye. So you know what? I'll just copy this from here and paste it here like so, and then I'll just change left to right, just like that. Okay, now let's move on. So we want to use a class selector, and first let's select cat left eye. So we'll say dot cat left eye, and then we want to give it a width of 30 pixels. Let's give it a height of 40 pixels. Let's also give it a background color with a value of the hex code 000, which is black. Okay, so if you look closely, this is it right here. All right, let's move on. Okay, so we want to move the left eye into position with the position property. So first, let's give it a position of absolute, and then we'll give it a top value of 54 pixels, which will push it away from the top by 54 pixels. Then let's give it a left value of 39 pixels. All right, there you have it. Now let's work on the eye, because this definitely doesn't look like an eye, let alone the eye of a cat. So to make it look more realistic, let's give it a border radius with a value of 60%. Let's also let's rotate it. So we use the transform property and we'll give it a value of rotate because we are using the rotate function. And let's pass in a value of 25 degrees like so. Okay, there you have it. Now that we are done with the left eye, let's try and do something similar for the right eye. So let's select cat dash right eye. And we also want to give it a width of 30 pixels, okay? And then let's give it a height of 40 pixels. Then let's give it a background color with the hex code 000, which is black. And then next up, we want to move it into position. So again, we use the position attribute. We'll say absolute. Then let's give it a top value of 54 pixels, a left value of 134 pixels, like so. Now let's round the edges a bit and rotate it. So first we'll say border radius. Let's give it a value of 60 pixels, like so. 60 pixels, 60%, sorry. And then let's also rotate it using the transform property and the rotate function. This time is going to be negative 25 pixels. Degrees, sorry. All right, there you have it. Okay, so the eyes, as you can see, they look okay, but we can still make them better because when you look at the final image. This is the eyes that we have with this white thing giving it more life. So the way we're going to do that is to create, okay, we already create those divs, the left inner eye and the right inner eye. Okay, so now let's target those divs. So let's first target the left inner eye. So cut left inner eye. Let's give it a width of 10 pixels. Let's also give it a height of 20 pixels and then a background color of white, or using the hex code #FFF, like so. Okay, so there we have it. But it's very square, or it has very sharp edges. So let's put it into position, and also let's round the edges. So the way you're going to do that is to give it a position of absolute, like so. Let's give it a top value of 8 pixels, a left value of 2 pixels. Then let's also give it a border radius of 60%. Then let's rotate it. So we're going to rotate it at an angle of 10 degrees, like so. Okay, there you have it. Our eye is looking more realistic and nicer than what we had before. Okay, so let's move on and do something similar for the right eye as well. So we're going to say cut right inner eye. First, we give it a width of 10 pixels. Let me make this a colon and not a semicolon. Okay. Next up, we want to give it a height of 20 pixels. And then let's give it a background color of FFF, which is white. Okay, now let's go to work positioning it properly and also rounding the edges. So first, let's set the position to absolute. Let's give it a top value of 8 pixels. Let's also give it a left value of 18 pixels. And then let's give it a border radius of 60%. And then we are going to rotate it. So we use the transform property in the rotate function, and we rotate it by an angle of -5 degrees, like so. Okay, so there we have it. We have our eyes nicely done, and it's looking closer to our final image now. So I guess the thing left that we need to do now is this whisk here, and then the mouth and the nose as well. So let's get to work on it. Alright, so like I said, next up it's time to work on the nose. So inside the HTML, let's create a div, and we'll give this div a class of cut nose. Alright, now on to the next one. Using a class selector, we want to give the cut nose. So first, let's select cut nose. Want to give it a left and right border. So let's say border left of 15 pixels for the size, solid for the style, and then transparent for the color. Okay, so I'm just going to use the shortcut to duplicate it. So I'm going to hold Option and Shift and then press down. Okay, and I'll just change this from left to right. All right, then let's also give it a border bottom 20 pixels for the size, solid for the style, and then let me just copy the color here for the, yeah. So as you can see there, we have the nose, but it's positioned wrongly. Oh, sorry, I made a mistake, guys. So let me try and do it again. So I'll say border left. Let me just copy it to be fast. Okay, first I should have selected it. So cat nose. I already did the thing, but I went back. Okay, so now I'll change this to border right. I'll change this to border bottom. The value will be 20 pixels. And then the color will be this right here. So I'm just going to copy this and replace transparent with it. All right, there we have it. So this is our nose, but it's positioned wrongly. So we have to work on the positioning as well. Okay. So next up, let's position it properly. So first we'll give it a position of absolute, a top value of 108 pixels to push it away from the top and bring it down. Let's also give it a left value of 85 pixels. Okay, as you can see, we have our our nose here, but it is having some sharp object that we want to deal with. So want to remove the sharp edges of the nose with border radius, each on the top left, bottom right, and then bottom left corners. Okay, so first let's say border top left. So border top left radius, and we want to give it a value of 50%. Okay, so I'm going to hold Option and Shift. If you're on Windows, hold Alt and Shift and then press down 2 times to repeat it. And I'm going to change this from top left to top right. And I'm also going to change this from top left to bottom left. Okay, all right. Now let's work on the rotation. So we need our transform property, and then let's use the rotate function. Let's give it a value of 180 degrees like so. Okay. Okay, so something is wrong. Your cat nose selector should have a border bottom right radius. Okay, so this should be border bottom right and not top border top right. Okay, this should work. All right, there you have it. Okay, so for step 57, what we want to do is we want to start working on the mouth. Okay, so now we've done the eyes and the nose. Let's start working on the mouth. Okay, so this shape here that looks like a W. Okay, so let's create an element, a div element inside our HTML, and we're going to give it a class of cat mouth. Okay, like so. Now inside this div of class cat mouth, we want to create another div element. So let's create a div element like so, and want to give it a class with a value of cat mouth line left, cat mouth line left. And I want to create a second div, so I'm just going to use the shortcut Option Shift or Alt Shift if you're on Windows, and then press down. Okay, so I'm just going to change this left to right, and we are good to go. All right, now using the descender selector, we want to select the 2 divs inside of the cat mouth element. Okay, so let's go back to our HTML to see what we mean. All right, so inside our HTML, you can see that we have the cat mouth here. Okay, and then inside this cat mouth element, we have 2 divs. So this is the div that the 2 divs that we want to select. Now to select an element which has children, or the children of an element, you write the element, or you select that element first. So in this case, the element is cat mouth. and then you leave a space, so space like this, and then you select the other element, so div, like so. So what this will do is that the browser will go to cat mouth and then select all divs inside of cat mouth. Okay, all right, now let's give them each a width of 30 pixels. Let us also give them a height of 50 pixels. And then let's give each one a border of 2 pixels solid 0 0, like so. All right, now as you can see, we have the lines that we've created here, but that's not how we want it. So what we want to do is want to turn the lines into an elliptical shape. As you can see, this one here is these two elliptical shapes. That is what make up the mouth. Okay, so we are still inside this cat mouth div selector. So we're going to say color and want to give it a color of black, transparent, transparent, transparent. So that's going to give the border top of black and then make all of these others transparent. So I'm just going to copy this and let's make it border color instead of just color. So it should be border color. All right, so as you can see now, all the other lines what is happening? Sorry guys, just a moment. Okay, I don't know what's happened, but let me just redo the 59 before we go to 60. So I'll just say cat mouth. I've already done this, but I don't know why. And let's give it a width of 30 pixels, a height of 50 pixels, and then a border of 2 pixels solid 0 0 0 for the color. Okay, so here we are again. So we want to give it a border color of, let me just copy it, black, transparent, transparent, transparent. Okay, so that gives everything, makes everything else transparent and then leaves the top only. Now let's also give it a border radius, and I'll just copy this value here and paste it here like so. Okay, so now we have this arc looking line that we want. All right, so this is step 60 and we're going to end this particular video here. In the next video, which will be the last one in this series for building the cat painting photo, we are going to look at steps 61 to the last step. All right, so see you in the next video.